Hello and welcome to today's session, which is a fire and building safety update for residential conveyancers. So as you will see on this slide, we have an awful lot to get through in the next hour. This is not intended to be a detailed session or a deep dive into either the Fire Safety or the Building Safety Act. We are, however, going to give you an update on several changes that have been made in the last 6 to 12 months. So in terms of setting the context before we get on to Fires and Building Safety Acts, it's first important to consider everything else that's going on around us. So as you'll see on this slide, we have a lot of legislative change and we aren't done yet. There's an awful lot of change still to come. So in the changes that we've already seen, most conveyancers will be very, very familiar with the Leasehold Reform Ground Rent Act 2022. We have also had Telecommunications Act. We've also had Energy Act 2023, which makes changes to communal heat networks and mandatory installation in certain buildings, including blocks of flats. In addition to that, we have also got some proposed legislative changes. So there has been a promise of further work to building safety, obviously a talking point of today's session, but also in mandatory common hold. There's talk of abolishing forfeiture, managing agent reform, lots more to come. In addition to this, we are seeing a lot of regulatory changes within our industry. Only today, as at today's session, we have had a press release from the Law Society finally providing clarification on the TA6 forms and the use of which version we are supposed to be using as conveyancers. We are also seeing never-ending changes to anti-money laundering regulations and our professional conduct rules. So there's an awful lot that conveyancers have to keep on top of when we are considering conveyancing in multi-unit buildings. In terms of specific changes, very recently we have of course had the Leasehold and Freehold Reform Act 2024, which received royal assent in May 2024, but at the time of this recording, vast parts of that piece of legislation have not yet commenced. There was a ministerial statement in November 2024 in which the Housing Minister confirmed that they hope to implement the remaining parts of LUFRA, as I call it, by 2026, possibly then also extended to 2027, depending on the politics. We have seen a lot of detail of what is in LUFRA and in terms of what is to come in terms of changes, but there is still an awful lot of detail missing. For example, we have a promise of a new sales information request, which will inevitably replace the LP1 pack. The sales information request will introduce a mandatory timetable, minimum or prescribed fees payable, and heavy enforcement for non-compliance by landlords and managing agents. What we don't have is any indication of what the sales information pack prescribed form looks like or what those timeframes are. So still a lot of detail yet to come.